All right, I want to welcome everybody to our blockchain and cryptocurrency training that we're conducting here. This is December 18th, and we're going to be going for a few hours here, and I'm going to break it up in a couple different recording sections. We will have a little bit of a break in between those sessions, like 5 minutes, so we can do things. I'm going to start out by taking a brain, chocolate mint. This is for me to make sure I'm concise, and hopefully I'm getting you guys this information slow enough to understand it. But it will be recorded so you guys can go back and listen to it over and over again. And I've heard many people have had to slow me down. I'm gonna do my best today. I'm very excited about the information I'm about to share with you. Hold on one second. Okay, 10 seconds. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a recap. It's 2021. Bitcoin was the first blockchain technology to be created, right? And I'm gonna pull up some notes and go over some background. But before I do that, and this is I'm hoping that I can cover it, whether you don't know what it is, or you know something about it, or you know a lot about it. I'm gonna try to cover the ground for everybody. I'm not gonna go to all the specifics, just enough to make sure everybody knows the path we're on. And we're going to be doing ongoing supplemental trainings, especially in our VIP access area. So this is something that we are ready to now start going forward with. And I'm going to tell you the way that I've seen it as a marketer up until this point. We've been able to market some things, but everything's being put together still. It's brand new. It's still in infancy. And I don't even know, even if saying it's like a newborn baby, I don't even think we're to that stage yet. There's a lot of major changes that are happening in this regard. The best way to explain it is going back to history, and history repeats itself. It's been since the beginning of time, and there has been a historical change that happened for us in our lifetime here. That's called the internet, that changed the way everything is done and is being done, and it was absolutely a precursor to what we're seeing now with the blockchain, with cryptocurrencies, and everything that world is now inclusive of and will be inclusive of. So I'm going to go back in time, and I'm going to go to my birth year, 1974. That'll tell everybody how old I am. I was born in 1974. Do you know what I was also born in 1974? The internet. The internet didn't come out in 94, it came out in 1974. Coincidental that I was born that same year? Possibly, okay? And didn't know about it, right, until the 90s myself, well, late 80s. But the internet and what it means was derived in 1974. And some of us, were involved with BBSs and precursors of things that created the connectivity and what's there today. Now, I'm going to go over some things. The internet went through a growth phase and went into Internet 2.0, better services, better bandwidth. Other things happened to take the internet into a very more productive commercial state. That's why we're, and the Internet 3.0 is already being created. It's already underway. And that is all having to do with blockchain technologies to make it better. It's going to allow even more to happen. Okay. And I like to state it doesn't matter whether we want it to happen or not, it's happening. There's too many powers that be that have been putting this in place, lots of money behind it, and it's because the means of what it creates is incredible, okay? So I'm gonna go back in time a little bit. I'm gonna go to 1974. There wasn't even computers allowing this connectivity or the thought of it to happen. They needed things to progress. They couldn't take it to the public until the PCs were robust enough to tie into it and the phone systems were robust enough to tie into it. There was no fiber optic connections. There was just dial-up and using the standard phone system of the times, which are all based on copper wire, right? Fiber optics wasn't installed everywhere. We were still using telephones on copper wire when the internet started being conducted and connected. And we needed to wait for infrastructure to be put into place before this could even be deployed. All right. Opportunities were vast. The other thing that comes to truth is no matter how great that service is, no one even knew what it was or understood it or had the education on it. So I got involved in computer programming, computer telephony, at a very young age for me. And I was 10 years old, 1984, when Ma Bell got deregulated. No longer did you have to buy phones and services through one company, one monopoly, but now it was open for competition, and the mom and pop shops could open up. And my father opened up telephone service and supply and started building commercial phone systems for the resorts, the condominium complexes up in Park City, all throughout Utah, hair salons, and I was punching cables and learning how connectivity worked and building these. It was very intriguing to me. And that opened up opportunities and growth, and got the infrastructure to go better. And they had 24 pair wires and 48, and just like you would see in a phone line system where it goes up by quantities of 24. And that changed to fiber optics, where now it was a matter of how much you put through it, and then it got to the bandwidth where based on speeds and deployability, and the more connections we could send through, the more data packets we could send through, the more we could do with it. And that bridged further and further into bigger projects where now we can stream TV, movies, everything into our devices via Wi-Fi or via cabling structures that are in place. The infrastructure has been built up. We're going more and more Wi-Fi. We're going more and more lo-fi. We're going more and more energies and wavelengths, which I'll throw in a thing here. The more energy we're sending through the air with force and repetition and quantity, we do need to look at how we're protecting our bodies that are also frequencies. So I'll put that out there. That's why I'm so happy we got Laura's program in here with all of that. And I'll just leave that there. I'll just put that out there. I think it's really, smart. We have all this technology, but we do need to think what it's doing in addition to solving problems. So back to, to me, 89 is when I got involved with a telecommunication company, and we were doing computer telephony. And we had one of the first ISDN switches in the world installed in our facility. We spent millions of dollars to have that claim. And I watched that technology literally get made obsolete in what felt like 2 seconds. Okay. And it jumped beams up from what that was to full on digital and fiber optics. And it's amazing watching that go on a business perspective, because what it allowed us to do. And the plain old phone system now pretty much doesn't exist in most of the modern world. And in a lot of the third-party countries, they never even had it installed. They went right to Wi-Fi, right to cellular, and that's been a big jump. And that's allowed all these things to start happening and take place. And the reason why I'm stressing this and covering it is, as great as the blockchain is, without these predecessing elements or infrastructures being put into place, they would not be possible today. So everything's been quantum leaping on top of each other. It's the way technology goes. And I'm gonna speak to that as a marketer, and I'm gonna try to avoid what I call the scary trap. We'll call it the quicksand, and that's hybris. Hopefully you guys know what hybris means. It's my word of the year. I'm gonna be carrying it on to next year. Hybris is scary. Hybris is following in line with all the sheep in all one direction of something. And it's usually where mistakes are happening, where people lose a lot of money. Hybris. And it's really good to be aware of it, right? Hybris is why people make mass decisions and do stupid things. And I mean, from political, even in your own neighborhoods and workplaces. When the masses get excited, things happen that should not have happened. If you look at pandemonium that happens inside like a theme park, I've seen people at Disneyland line up behind a line that's really just for a snack. They think that's for a ride, but because everybody's lined up, they think they got to get involved in it and waste hours of time based on hybris. It happens all around. So as a knowledgeable person and utilizing the law of awareness, I wanted to bring up hybris. We're entering some new spaces. Hybris is what causes problems. Backing up again. In the 90s, the .com era hits. Internet's being, established and released to the public, made available. You now can modem in. The companies such as AOL become huge. We're paying by the minute to utilize their services to connect in what was really just a glorious bulletin board services. And most people are just using it to chat and communicate. And that grew from there. You couldn't stream anything then. My AOL bill was a minimum $250 because I was traveling. And if I was if I was condensed in one location, it might have been $1,250 a month just to utilize dial-up service. I mean, the value was great for me, and I was learning and investing in it to see where the frontier was going to go. This is a constant path, and I really want to stress this because we're in the education platform now to learn what this Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency stuff really is turning into, where it's going. You know, it's all based on the future projection of what we think it's going to do. We don't have all the answers, neither does anybody else. Everybody's going that direction because they see what it can do. They see the potential. There's a lot of shared truth and shared acknowledgement of what's going to happen, what can happen, and what we believe will happen. And in that, hubris is going to be scary. Hubris will cause us to make bad mistakes, bad judgments. So check your hubris. That's my warning of this whole training. Check your hubris. If you think you're getting too excited because it feels that way, slow it down. If there's something I've learned in life is if it seems too good to be true, slow it down. Do more research. If you think you're going to miss a window, it's better. Nothing amazing is do or die right now. Nothing. If it feels like it's do or die, it better be life or death. Otherwise, do not get caught up in the hubris. I'm going to put that out there, and I'm guilty of it as well. I've made massive decisions. I put 8 Bitcoin into certain projects that I shouldn't have if I would have slowed down, but I bought in the hubris and the rush of what was going on. And that's what happens in these things. Just like the .com era, where a lot of ideas came out and people were raising incredible sums of money without even having more than an idea, that's happening in the crypto world. And some people take advantage of that, and their whole idea is just to raise as much money as possible, get out and go do something else because they don't really have an idea how to execute it, but they want to get paid on their idea. And it's not necessarily trustworthy. I do not think it's full of integrity, but the crypto world is doing the same thing. It's a repeat of the historical things we've seen done before, only in an evolution of the technology. Same bad actors are out there, same fraudsters, same, Ponzi scheme creators. And I'm going to be very strict on these methods and the direction that we're going to go. And anything that I do or share with my students, I vet out to the fullest potential. Doesn't mean I have the best crystal ball on where the future is going to go. And it doesn't mean I have full control on everything. And the whole idea with the blockchain is that nobody has full control on anything. That way it's based on a trustless situation, so no one person can destroy it. And the corrections are in place. It's virtually creating a non-hubris situation going forward for everybody, so that we don't get destroyed by greed and trust. And that's what the blockchain really creates. Now, I'm going to go over some more of this and hopefully get in a really good mode, because I've already seen this myself, and it's really good for me because I did very well during the .com space, but I could have done better if I would have, you look back and I said, I wish I would have done this, or I should have done more of this, or why did I not hold on to that longer? Stuff like that. You beat yourself up, but no one knew. It was a wild west. It still kind of is, right? And blockchain and the cryptocurrency stuff is no different. Only it's repeating history, which means in theory, those of us that have gone through the .com and gone through the internet phases, we should look at history, know that it's going to repeat itself, and hopefully not make the same mistakes, and learn from our failures and go forward with a better life. And that being said, a lot of the companies and the people that I continue to work with, I've watched them fail once, twice, 3 times, 4 times going towards a concept. And a lot of times you've got to fail to figure it out because no one has. And first to market means something. And first to market is usually the most expensive. You've got to educate the world on it, let alone you got to create something. And your path to create it may not work the first time or the first 1,000 times. And those that have the grit to stick it through are going to get a lot more of my support than somebody that's lucky and gets it right the first time, because when they run into a problem, they're going to blow up. Technology does that. Okay, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Once it is easy, everybody does do that. And those that are making it easy in the process, or who we want to back up and be part of, now the biggest risk and gain, or biggest amount of risk to reward. Like we want to risk as little as possible for the biggest gain possible, but understand we can't put all our eggs in one basket. Understand that we got to look at everything as we're betting that it's going to win, but we're going to bet on several things to win so that we can have an upside when something does hit. We're not going to put all of our eggs or all of our understanding and all of our marketing backgrounds into any one thing. We've got to be diversified. And that's historically been proven the only way to do things to me. You know, I want to have 1,000 things pay me $1,000 a month. That's what I want, right? If I got one that's paying me 100,000, that's great. I still want 900 more. And when you look at every investment possibility in the stocks, that's one of those things, right? Well, crypto, even though it's considered property, not considered as securities, and who knows when that'll change, it has some precursors to it. And I'm going to try to cover that throughout this training. I'm going to try to cover all my knowledge on it so you guys can make some decisions. And I happen to know that a lot of people are going to see this training, probably don't even do stock investments or outside your 401ks or IRAs. You're not trading, and that's fine. We're going to cover some things here, but it's, you know, everybody's going to get some comfort level, but everybody can win from what's happening with the blockchain and cryptocurrency. And I mean everybody, because it's opened a whole new user world of interaction that we've never had before. We get paid for activity and we get rewarded for activity and spreading things in a whole new fashion. And if you read my book, or if you haven't read it, I highly recommend that you read it, Marketing is Freedom. I talk about the new direction that I'm going to see all sorts of businesses go, where employees get paid based on their responsibilities and their true work to the company and based on what they interface with. The whole cryptocurrency world and the whole blockchain actually is built that exact way. The more you involve in it, the more tokens you have. That counts as votes towards a direction. We all have say based on our ownership of those tokens based on voting rights. It is the most uniform, non-biased direction possible. And therefore, I bet that it will win because it takes away greed, it takes away bad trust, it gets rid of the bad actors, and therefore, all you can do is win because the things that destroy businesses are speed and greed. Going too fast based on greed, being greedy in the different environment. And if you can replace that and go forward with it, it's going to be awesome, right? How can it not be? Goodness is always great, and we want greatness. Okay, so this whole thing, going back to the internet, I watched it unfold like everybody else here did. I did it from my background and usability. I was in business that did great, and I watched the old telephone lines be made obsolete and replaced with better tech. Then I watched that tech take over where it wiped away the computer telephony altogether with a way better solution. And even though that better solution came out and was available as early as 1994, I watched it take another 11 years to make something obsolete that was already obsolete by 92. And that's because people don't change fast. People don't adapt into it fast. The law of marketing is real, but it takes a while, ascension marketing, to change an idea. Ideas are a powerful thing, very powerful. And getting somebody to share the vision and jump on board and help share that with the rest of the world is what's necessary for it to take off. The best ideas don't always take off. The better solution doesn't always win out. It's the marketed solution that wins. That's how it is. And I want you guys to understand, as far as RRR247, we're in a very powerful situation for and value to the world. We've got a lot of us that can spread the word. We have numbers and masses in a communication process that we all are under here. It was designed by a great vision to get there, and you guys are all part of that. We win. Sticking around here means we're going to win because the future is going to constantly bring new stuff out there, and it's going to be the same rule. It's going to have to be marketed. It's not going to sell itself. Not even an idea sells itself. Everything has to be explained, educated. That's why we have such a big purpose here. That's more or less what I wanted to do on this first initial run through with you guys, is get you to understand where we are and the power of that, and also not to lose what created the power of that. We've got a marketing means that is unparalleled to anything I've ever seen before, and the strength of it gets stronger the more people we add to it, the more people we train into it, the more people we get to understand and see, and then the light bulbs go off, and they're like, oh my gosh, I see what this is. And it all creates income for a family. It all has the potential to create multiple streams of income. And once they understand it and get into the knowledge of it and understand the art of performance blogging, even though we're doing the blogging and the stuff online, it's going to impact blockchain. It's going to impact the innovations of blockchain. It's going to impact cryptocurrencies, because we're going to put that into our categories and measurements. It's going to be something we're going to be marketing in a circular way. It is relevant. Now, I'm going to go over some things. I bring up the 1994. In 1994 is when I started doing marketing applications online. Up until then, the internet was created in 1974, as being used by universities, the government, the military, high-end devices to create it. And then for them to do what they wanted to get done, they needed to get the infrastructure built. That takes time, decades, literally decades in this case. And understanding is going on there, and the public's learning about what a PC is, and we're starting to use word processor. We're leaving archaic mechanical typewriters to digital world and keyboards and growing. All right. I want you guys to go through this with me because this history repeating itself again. Okay. And in 94, 1 in every 3.5 homes had a home PC. Now, they weren't glorious. A lot of them were like your Commodore 64s, your TRS-80s. You know, the Pentium 100 wasn't out yet. And the Mac Classic was probably the best home use computer on the planet. Soon to be, when the Pentium 100 came out, that made it trash. And then they adapted. I'm not going to like go into the Mac talk. I used to be the biggest Mac baby. I created literally 70 companies on a Macintosh Classic, did the notes and everything for the boardrooms, all on a black and white universal screen that I would carry around, kind of heavy. I did that. I get it. I was a Mac baby until the Pentium 100 came out, and I realized the multitasking I could do in the processing speed. And then I switched. All right. I got a very valid background in it. But this is, and that was adapting. And how did I do that? Is because I was in it, using it, and open to change. Right. I wasn't locked into one thing. I wanted what was going to open up things, and the potential, the need wasn't just shared. It was a shared need with me and all sorts of other businesses. Right. So in 94, there was one PC in every 3.5 homes. And there was people starting to use email, which was a way for me to communicate. Instead of going to your mailbox with my direct mail advertisements, I could go to your email inbox, which there wasn't a whole lot of people using it. And I joke because I used to send a list of about 10,000. I had a very strong list of 10,000 emails. Today, that wouldn't do anything, but I had 10,000 back then, and I could make several $1,000s every mailing I did. Okay. There was different protocols then. It was a lot easier to mail. And eventually I was sending 10 million emails a day out of one Pentium 100 tower, which you could never do today with protocols, but I could then. And I was making insane income for what I was doing that. But the email protocols, and people were excited and they were growing and adopting it. And then by 97, there was one computer in every 2.5 homes. 3 years later, there was a big boom, and the sales of those were going up, right? And laptops were easier to use. And I talk about it in my book. I brief on it because it was a big change. Portable computing got bigger because there was a need for it. And it became easier for everybody to start creating it. And based on need, everything got more small, condensed, packaging, engineering stepped in. I mean, you should see you guys see that what you can do inside of a tablet. Even a watch now has more processing capability than, it's probably 1,000 times more than that TRS-80. And that's just a simple watch that's digital now. Now we have these incredible smartwatches and wearables. I mean, you guys see where the trend's going. And what I like to point out is we want to be involved in technology, but it's never going to be a solid anchor we can always hold on to. It's going to be a purpose to go somewhere else. And you need to, I'm going to state that again. When we're in marketing, I've seen big companies go down and get kicked in the teeth when they focus on the technology pieces, when they only focus on hardware. Hardware is going to change and get better. And that's what you need to understand. And as a consumer, I'm going to constantly be buying the new stuff coming out there because it's going to be more and more efficient, makes me more efficient, which means I can do more in what I do for a living. And I'm going to be part of that. But it doesn't mean I keep waiting. It means I invest into it. I buy the latest, greatest today, and I buy new ones every 2 years to keep going on that and keep learning with the adaptations. A lot of people here started with the iPhone 2, 3, 4. iPhone 4 is when they hit popularity side and more people were using them. And then the features kept growing. All right. Androids came out, same story. It gets better and better as they produce, but those that have been along the course, our learning curve is easy. When the new one comes out, we already know what it can do. Now we're going to learn the new things. Our adaptation or adapting to the newest way is going to be quicker and quicker and quicker because we're involved. All this is part of growing the infrastructure for new things to come. The more we buy in as consumers, the more that we advance with it, the more we're ready for the next advancement. There are things that they want to do that we're not ready for yet today, and we got to wait for that. And that's a big thing that I learned watching the internet happen. Watching the internet happen in our everyday lives, I should say. And I'll put this out there because I know we had some conversations prior to this training. I'm going to tell you the one thing I've seen in history. Going forward, as long as we have a free capital aspect of our world, I'll put that caveat out there. As long as there's a free market, innovation will not be stopped. We are put on this planet to grow. I think everybody here believes that. I think it's a fact. We're here to grow, expand, and keep on expanding and take things to the infinite level. Nothing's going to stop it. I think the natural course of that will always prove through. It's like water making its way through the canyon. It's going to happen. And no matter who's trying to stop it, all based on greed, it's going to end. It's going to find a way to go forward. What's happening with the blockchain technology is we're getting rid of a lot of friction that government bad actors have put onto technology. And as my best friend James tells me, right, the genie's out of the bottle, Rory. They can't stop it. Everybody sees what this can do. They're running on things. There's things being done in the background we have no clue on, and innovation will prevail. And I'm never seen a stop to that. And you look back in time, it's never been stopped. They've tried to stop it, you know, back with weapons and everything else in ancient days, and it still prevailed. It still got out. Nothing's ever stopped it, is what I'm saying. So my bet is it'll never be stopped. I think it's a constant growth, and we're going to be part of that. So when you hear anything hubris-wise that the internet's going to go away or be shut down or be limited, don't buy into it. It's all crap, and it goes against what's always worked in history. Bet against it. When they say that this blockchain and the Bitcoin's going to go away, don't bank on it. Don't bank on it. Go look at the numbers and the things where it's at. You know, I have personal friends that are worth billions of dollars because of Bitcoin, and they put the risk and the stuff involved in it, and they're going to be even in more so. And you're going to see massive wealth transfers in this. And it's not just to those that were rich already. It's those that see the opportunity and create opportunity and are part of it. It's one of the biggest wealth distribution projects ever. And the people mainly behind it are all good natured. But it doesn't matter because greed is eliminated with the blockchain. This is the most important thing to understand going forward. It's making the world a far better place. And who doesn't want to put their energies behind that? I'm all in. Okay, so here's where we go. I'm going to pull up some information and speak it out to you guys. Take notes. In 1994, the population of the world that was using email was under 3%. Right? So having a list of 10,000 was a big deal for me because there's only 3%. Now, of that 3%, 2% of it was pretty much government, schools, education like that we're creating it, which is pretty much government too, but you know, universities, right? And big corporations. They're using it internally and going out there, right? Honestly, they didn't have the capacity to handle the world using it at that time anyway. There's no infrastructure. Not right. But 3%. It grew a couple percent by years at a time. Adoption, in order for it to become mainstream for our population, there's a number. It's 17%. It's not 80%, it's 17%. So when 17% of the world is behind any one thing, now it's mainstream. When 17% of the market had iPhones, it was mainstream. When 17% of the homes, right? One in 5 homes, the PC was mainstream. It was. Not everybody had one, but it was mainstream. Everybody knew what they were. So now you put email in there and you start teaching how things go. Now everybody wants one because now there's a purpose for it. You know, I can pick up the phone and talk to you, or I can send you an email. I'm going to spend at the time, like on average, $1,000 for a PC so I can not use my phone to talk to you. That was kind of the reality, as funny as that is. Okay. We bought into the technology. And then, you know, today it's like, there's like, you know, an average of like 5.8 computer devices with keyboards in a home. It's like so vast, right? My home would skew that, right? But that's, you know, I think it's like every user, okay, it's like 3 to 1. We all average 3 computer devices a person in the US. Not worldwide, that's a US thing. Worldwide, it's probably like, you know, it's like 1.5. And it's growing, right? I mean, a lot of us have tablets, computers. You know, I have 5 laptops that I utilize. Of course, it's a business perspective and that, but you know, things have changed and evolved. You know, you can pick up a decent computer for a couple $100 now. You can, and you can still spend a ton, right? And you know, and they keep bringing out new programs, right? Windows 11's being launched right now. And if you don't have the right hardware specs, you can't get it. Windows 10 works fine, stay on it. I'll put that out there. You don't need to jump up to 11 anytime soon, but they will get you. Programs will stop not responding. New programs coming out won't be supported. They force us to keep going forward. There's a reason. Bigger things are on the way, and they're constantly pushing they're not just doing it to make more money. Sure they are, but more or less, they need to build infrastructure for things that are coming. All right. Now, I want to really press this point. The companies that create technology and are going forward with technology know the bounds of it and know what they can do, and they know the potential. And there's a lot of money in R&D that goes into it. Okay. Now, as a consumer, if I'm an early adopter and buy the latest, greatest as soon as it comes out, I will be paying a premium, but I'm also supporting the future where it's going. If I want to be conservative, I buy something that's 2 years old and I'm always going to get the best price on it, because just like a car or anything else, it's going to be worth less because the newest thing's coming out and they're pushing that. You're still helping to go forward. That primary, secondary marketplace is necessary to create economic means to keep technology going forward, and the demand's always going to be there, so what happens? This is the same with the technologies of infrastructure. And that goes from the internet to the blockchain to who knows what's going to come after that, if anything does. You know, there's no end all. And if we think we finally found the end of technology, that's hubris that you shouldn't buy into. There's always going to be advances, right? Always. That's just the human nature. We don't all know what it's going to be. It's unknown until it's known. We don't know what we don't know, but somebody's always creating more things or have a better path. And, you know, there's divine intervention, I believe, and all sorts of things that this keeps us prodding along. We're meant to do this when we're ready for it. And if we're all great stewards and we all do the right thing and we're help our fellow man, technology goes even faster. That is something I consider a fact as well. And the reason why I want to bring that up is the blockchain itself gets rid of bad players, bad actors, as we call them. It gets rid of trust. It makes it trustless. And if I can make that to where it makes it always good and it does what it's supposed to do, that's going to speed up technology, just because that's the way the universe works. If things are being done right, it's going to go faster. When you sit down with the innovators of blockchain technologies, and I've been able to do that, they are all about bettering mankind. Their mentality is amazing, and they all have a very giving DNA. They've made billions of dollars in that certain crypto, and they're using that money that they created to create their projects. Some of them are even pet projects that have a sustainability to make the world a better place. That's a very common thing. They're not in there greedily. They're going to make great money. They know it, but they're looking to enhance the way of the world, and they bought in on that. And there's a shared truth into it that's very, very, it's alluring. Yeah, it's very powerful, and it feels really good to be around. And that's why I know it's a really good path to be on, because that's what I want to drive to. I'm attracted to it, right? And I think a lot of people are. And the places that like to control us by controlling our money, you've heard the quotes. I believe it's I heard Rockefeller say it. I've heard other people say it. But if you control the money, you control the people. It's a chain. And that's something that we see, in the growth we do with RRR247 is we're trying to empower people to make your own incomes, not be chained to a job, chained to a boss, chained to somebody else that's controlling your time. Time and financial freedom is what we're giving you. The blockchain encompasses that completely and wholly. It's all about that. And so obviously we're going to progress that way, but it's going to change the way work is done. It's going to change the way that commerce happens. It's going to get rid of things. And when I put in my book that eventually employees are going to be getting more of what they're paid, or get paid more of what they're worth, it's going to change. This is it. This is exactly the example of that. And it's going to be happening. It's, the wage situation and people wanting to have their minimum wage raised up. I get that everyone wants more and want to come for a living, but do more, participate more. The thing with cryptocurrencies and the way that they're set up and the basis of it is to reward people for doing the right activities and doing stuff. It actually is such an awesome distribution of resources, right? This world is ours, not mine, not yours, ours. We're all here to be stewards of it and protect it and utilize it and go forward with it. And having structures set up to measure it, such as the blockchain and a way to pay for it with the cryptocurrency, allows that very thing to happen in a very fair, equitable, and trustless system so that it can't be corrupted by greed and speed. This is amazing. And I wanted to convey that. And this might be one of those things you got to listen to a few times and really take to heart what I'm telling you. And what's really awesome is all these big minds and powerful people that are now powerful with money in today's thing because of all this. Their direction is the same. They see it the same way I do. What I've explained, it's a shared truth, and that's why everybody's so happy and very solid to get behind it. And when everything is done and going, it gets even better. And there's more value once it's actually established. An idea is amazing. An idea put to motion is even more amazing. And once it's fully executed, fantastic. And we're all looking at doing that along the way and helping that support. And those are in from the very beginning should gain more by writing it out, being supportive, being part of that process. Now, those at risk in the very beginning on a concept or an idea, like such going back to the .com space, people poured millions of dollars into an idea that would make e-commerce possible, and it didn't go anywhere because there's a million other people chasing it, and these guys won out. That's a possibility too. So when we pick projects and opportunities to go forward, I like to pick them through buddies that share the knowledge I have, that collectively agree. And we're looking at things that we believe are going to come to fruition, and we might know the character of the people that started it to get it going. The thing that's really, really awesome about the blockchain technology is once it's going, it's now no one person can change it now. It's in motion. It's done based on a white paper. It cannot be changed. It's done. It goes forward. And if it's failed, they're going to fork it, replace it with something that's going to be better, but this originally thing is going to be there. It protects everybody. It's getting rid of the greed. It's really what it is. So if you want to know what blockchain technology is, it has to do with it's a ledger. It's a big spreadsheet, only greed's removed from it. That's the easiest way to explain it to somebody. If you think you heard the word decentralized, centralized means that somebody can greedily cover it. Banks run on centralized databases. If that bank wants to change what your balance is and they can say it just happened, you really don't have much to argue with. It's their database versus you. They can show withdrawal. But when you go to a decentralized, they can't. There's third-party verification. There's consensus verification. It's built based on that. No one person can defraud you because it's built so that we can't. That's not even possible. That's why it's so amazing, and that's where the value of Bitcoin comes in, because it's the first one to do it. It's the first one to do it and created it and opened that genie out of that bottle. So now we all know what it is. And now we can build on technology and go forward with it. And it's unbelievable what we've seen so far. And it's just beginning. It's just beginning. So I'm going to bring up a couple of key points just to cover the basis of this. And then we're going to go into some nitty gritty. We're pretty much on schedule. A lot of stuff here, guys. A lot of stuff here. So I'm going to share my screen. And also, what I'm going to share with you guys is on one of my PBSs. It's on the Rory3.com. I will actually share it in the chat so you guys can write this down. It's Rory3.com/blockchain-innovation. And I'll do it in the link form. Now, the reason why I put it on a PBS like this is to show you guys a structure and idea where to go. All along, since it's been years now that I added the blockchain innovation category to our PBS systems, we were going to be involved in things. Didn't know what was going to come. We're going to just set it up to do that. This is no different. However, this is actually information that ties into our stuff to help educate the world about what we have. So there are some big projects. Their entire purpose and their white paper is to educate the world on what blockchain is, what cryptocurrency is, and we're probably going to be part of some of those and share the same school of stuff to put out there. But we're also going to be doing our own in a very in a strong point, and it is going to be somewhat biased because there are going to be projects that we personally are behind, that we believe in and going forward with, that we're going to educate on. The power of us marketing something means that we all have something to gain, because if ours becomes the best marketing solution, we win. We win. we win. All of our efforts get paid off. If we are in projects where we receive token to market, and that token goes up in value because of its use and proof of use and access to use goes up, we all win because we held onto the token. Does that make sense? So I'm going to put it in a different perspective as we go forward before I open this up. And I'll go with some basis. Write this down. Compensation is going to change where we can actually get paid for our value to any one process, not just a set amount negotiated. The leverageability goes away. We can't ever be leveraged because we can arrange something, but we can impact the value ourselves by doing what we say we will do. It's going to reward us for being trustworthy. It's the way things should be. It's the way a lot of things we do are now. If you look at Wine Ambassador, we get paid based on our activities. If we do the right activities, we make even more money. And our activity is to gain as many customers as we can, gain as many ambassadors to build teams with that we can, and help them do the same. The more we do that, the more we get paid. We get paid our worth. These are what I only want to be part of. I don't ever want to just get paid a set fee to do something and do a really good job and wish I would have got paid more. That's why there's a break in it. There has to be a solid path that makes sense for everybody. And the blockchain does that. I'm going to give you different examples of what it does. That's really what this training is mainly on the philosophy of it. Now, Bella Vita is the same, right? We get paid for what we do, and the actions that they want us to do benefit the company and us. And the more we do that, the more we get paid. That's how these things work. Okay, we're gonna have more of those. That's what we look for. That's what attracts us. And so when we get into different agreements, it's going to be based on that. Now, there's got to be two sides to that, right? It's got to work for everybody. And sometimes there might be a huge investment made up front because we think we're going to build something really big. And there's a project coming out really soon that the marketing partnership that represents a lot of things we have here. So it's Tanny and I and Peter and his group, and then 3 other groups. We put a lot of money in, and let's just say that there's going to be something coming out that we press that forward to benefit all of us because we really believe that we can market it. We really believe we can get the word out there, the usage of it, and it's going to benefit everybody here. So we're going to gamble on that by basically saying we're going to do this. And if we do what we said we're going to do, we should get paid very well for doing so, and that's how it's going to be set up. I'll make it even more simple when we roll it out there, but just so you guys know, I'm pretty dang excited about it because all I know is if we go put our heart and soul into it, we're gonna get the benefit of it. In so many things in my life leading up to this technology, allowing this to be protected, and I know a lot of you probably feel the same way, whether you work for a job for somebody, you put your heart and soul into it, not to get any more gains. You just feel bled out, taken advantage of. The blockchain eliminates that. So based on that, the way that the world goes, the way employment works, you're going to see massive changes. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to affect labor laws. It's going to affect so many things. Just remember, I told you that. It's like, and this is just me with a shared truth. I didn't invent this. I see where it's going, and I've agreed on it. And obviously I'm going to convey it forward because it's a belief, solid belief. It's fact to me. All right, so I'm going to pull this up, go over some key things. And you guys write down great notes, right? This is recorded. My Rory 3 blockchain page is not only something that you guys can utilize. Did I share my screen? But you guys can set up your own pages of this. We can duplicate this out there and get the word out, right? So I'm going to go to my blockchain innovation page, right, on a PBS, just like you guys all have, and you'll see my AdSense marketing going everywhere. And there's a lot of notes in here, right? And this video presentation, I'll be adding it to this because it's going to be a way to convey this. And this training is something that we want everybody in the world to see and gain from. That should be our mission, is to inform them. An informed person can make a decision, right? It all goes down to when marketing is done properly, sales becomes order taking. And in our situation here, Our job is to market and get information out. And we also have products that they can participate in, and that's where we get reward. But we're also making money if we have Google AdSense on, if we have everything else going, all of our other categories, right? We have a vehicle, a mechanism to reward us for doing the work. But it's going to get even bigger based on what I'm going to be rolling out in this training, and then obviously going into January. So this is something that's meant to be passed along. I'm going to state it. Obviously, you need to make it your own authorship and change things around, and you guys have been trained how to do that. Everybody has my explicit permission to rob, copy, steal, and then modify for your own use any information I have on rory3.com, homewithtanya.com, 1f16.com, and actually any authored site that I have. There's so many of them, but you absolutely can. That's the whole idea, is to share this and go forward. We are working with projects where we win as a team. We win as a marketing family. And so that's what it's there for. And you know, when it's an open invitation to bring anybody into our community here to grow, you know, that's what this is about. There is so much available. We don't need to be greedy and hold it in. In fact, the more we share it, the better it is for everybody. The more people that know the information, share the knowledge, share the shared truth, the more we have to gain. Everything we have, the more people that know about it, the better it is for us. Keeping our mouths quiet, keeping our activities, not sharing it, not sampling, all the things that we do to get the word out there is a must to progress to bigger things. And we all get paid more for what we do. You know, it's not one of those things you can put a lot of effort in and not get paid anything additional. No, we get paid our worth in everything that's set up. You need to understand that's one of the biggest things, the biggest benefits of what we've created here. So blockchain innovation, and I'm going to go over this. And I want to go over some details as we get underway. And I've got it really written out, right, for someone to read through. They're going to be able to watch this video on here too and go through here. But we want the whole world to understand what the blockchain is, what the new evolution of Web 3.0 is. You guys think it's cool now? You can stream everything online. It's going to get bigger, better, faster. Everything's going to improve. That's what happens. I was on with our CTO of One Ambassador Peter yesterday, and I watched a transaction happen that I'm almost dead positive is part of the blockchain because of how fast it initiated and connected, and watched it real time happen faster than I've ever seen before. And it just awoke me even more. Like, we have no clue how great things are about to become. You know, things that seemed impossible or totally science fiction are going to start becoming, oh yeah, we did that last year already. It's amazing where things are advancing. And again, I'll just stress, don't get caught up in the hubris of it, right? Don't think you're losing out on anything, because even the greatest ideas take a while to plant seed and grow, and they're worth the most when people are using it. The idea itself isn't worth the value. It's the idea being utilized and executed, right? And it takes a while. There was 3% of the population in 1994 using the internet for email. Email, main thing. Browsing was kind of there. There wasn't all the information yet. It's not to grow on the infrastructure. The reason why I wanted to stress that before I go into here is, guess how many people have wallets? Here, I'm going to stop my chair so you guys can see something better. Okay, guys, pay attention to this. Guess how many people have wallets? Now, wallet is how we buy crypto or hold crypto or utilize crypto. You got to hold it somewhere, right? And we have wallets that are electronic, and we have like cold storage wallets, which are devices. I got mine around here somewhere, that hold on to this, and then you can release it and lock it up and protect it so that you only utilize it when you want to utilize it. And then you got to put it into a wallet to utilize it, but you can store it protectively here so no one has access to it, right? That's the wallet side. But guess how many people, guess how much of the population have wallets today? The end of 2021, guess how many have it? So Tony says, you say 10%, Tony? So that's us buying in the hubris because we're around it. You're way high, Tony. If it was 10%, you guys, we would have missed out on some opportunity. That's why we have it. Tom, you are absolutely correct. It's the same as it was with the email users, 3%. And when I say 3%, it's a hyper-inflated 3% like it was in 94. We're talking mainly businesses, communities, banks, everybody else trying to figure this stuff out. It's not even all the early adopters yet. So if anybody here thinks you missed the way where you're gonna make money because of all this Bitcoin stuff, oh no, we got early adoption stages. We have a huge gain, okay? Because I made most of my money on the internet from 1997 to 2001 that allowed me to set up my infrastructure to really grow past that. So do what we do now. It's stages. You know, we weren't even able to do a lot of the things to train you guys until 2008. 14 years after I first got in. Patient process is real. History will repeat itself. You guys, we have plenty of time to make massive growth. What we got to do is stick with it. Don't quit. Participate in it. There are very, subtle things that we got to just keep in mind. Time is constant, never changing. Time is something we all have the same amount of. And if we're not using our time to better ourselves for our families and our future, we're wasting time. If you don't get your incomes and resources making money for you without the trading of time, you will never get ahead. There is an absolute truth of inflation that makes putting your money in a savings account obsolete. No matter what, you'll never get ahead. You got to have something that creates a better yield, a better return, a better turnover. These cryptocurrencies and blockchain represent ways to do that. All right, we're going to go into that and just start it and then continue that conversation for years to come. All right, and I've been testing, investing. I call it educating myself by action, which is what everybody here should be doing. Set aside some mad cash, set aside some mad, objections. And if you don't have mad cash, well, that means you're not following what we do in RRR247 with our foundational projects to bring money in that you can do this with, right? We all understand what fiat is, which is like a US currency and everything else. And if I was to tell you that's going to stay the same and not change, I would have lied to you. That would be a lie. It is already changing. So the sooner everybody gets adapted to the change and gets in the process of it, the better. What I would be fearful of is my parent not knowing what crypto is, because in everybody's lifetime here in the next 10 to 20 years, we're going to see revolutionary change. It's already underway. We're just going to realize it. It takes that time for everybody to understand it and be aware of it. Not everybody is keen on things. They're learning new things every day. A lot of people are not connected. They don't plug in. They let the news tell them what things are up and down. They let somebody else tell them. They don't do their own research. You know how much easier it is to do research on our own now than it ever has been? And yet people are still ignorant. It's a dangerous time not to be getting information, and it's up to us to steward of that information to share it forward, and we all win by doing so. Okay, I wanted to stress this: 3% have wallets. That means marketing wallets that benefit us is a great thing to do. Now, everybody should have Coinbase. They are the first ones to be able to. Okay, this is later in training. I'll cover it again, but Coinbase allows us to put money in and pull money out. A lot of the other wallets, you can put stuff in and crypto in and hold them, but they don't have a way for you to get cash out yet. Now that's coming more and more, we're going to, but they have to go through a regulation process. They gotta bridge the gap from the crypto world to the fiat world and get like a bank to participate with them on a debit card system or something like that. That means they got to be accredited, vested, and probably give up who knows how many firstborn children with that institution to make it happen. They're still dealing with the world that is not controlled by trustless setups. And so it goes through that. Now there's a change coming there, and I'll probably bridge that in the training to come today. And this is why it was so crucial to get this going. It's the time now to start going. There's enough in actuality being done right now that we can go forward with stuff and not just be the deliverer of information of things to come, but the deliverer of information of things to come and things that are already here and where things are already going, and you can participate now in actual things. The rubber has hit the road now, and it's still a baby, all right? It's just like the internet, where we can do all this stuff, and oh no, we have an email platform, people can talk back and forth now. Now we have a usability that makes the internet even better, right? Now, I could go into some other matter of fact things that made the internet get bigger, faster. It spawned it, and it's all about usability and things that people needed to use for. If we didn't have a demand to stream videos and live TV and sporting events, the internet would not have progressed the way that it did, but we did. And they all had to keep up and keep pushing forward. These new innovations to make things better are going to drive it, and a lot of it has to do with finance. And it's all about decentralized. So if you ever hear D anything, that means decentralized. Okay, decentralization is putting things in a trustless situation, utilizing blockchain, which we'll talk about that in specifics as we get going on here. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is fun. All right, so let me share my screen again. Back on rory3.com/blockchain-innovation. I'm going to get some details out of the way. And you guys, as strong as we're going forward now, there's things that got us here. There is the horses that we rode on aren't going to change. We're just going to change the availability and the effectiveness of it. But we cannot lose track of the basics, okay? Doesn't matter the product or service that we're representing, the methods of which we do aren't going to change, okay? So I'm gonna go over my caveat. I'll probably say it a few more times. And caveat probably isn't the best word. I'm gonna go over my disclaimer. I'll just be very blunt. Everything here, this is not financial advice, okay? This is for marketing direction and education only. Any suggestions of potential is entertainment purposes only, okay? I don't have a crystal ball. I'm gonna tell everybody I do not know the future, all right? All I can base my information on is watching history repeat itself and seeing the direction things are going. We call that experience, okay? There is no requirement of participation for anyone to be trained in this shared understanding and information today. Now, we're going to have specific trainings that go into our VIP program, and that'll be for VIP access only, so we can get more in depth. We're also going to have a lot more, protections in place there for information we're going to share and different advice coming in from registered advice givers, okay? The initial training provided through this information pages and videos are made freely available to the public. May it serve you all well. And no guarantees whatsoever. I'll put that out there. Any example or logins to wallets are for entertainment purposes only. They are not to provoke or instigate hubris for anybody to purchase or jump on board on anything. I'm going to show you what has happened based on crypto during a set time, based on realities, based on seeing what it is and explain my trends and show all that. There is no claims, no forecasts, again, no guarantees or promises in any way. I'm just going to base my knowledge and show you what I've seen in history based on reality and be able to prove that. That's what it is. Just to preview where I see things going based on actual actions. But I don't know if it's going to continue that way. That there is no magic crystal ball that says it will. That's why there's risk and reward on all types of projects. This I think this pays like dollars a click. By the way, I like how they interject it. Obviously, this is the Google AdSense ad. You'll see it everywhere. By the way, being that we're going to be marketing, and I'm speaking to RRR247 members that are doing the art of performance blogging and sharing this information out there. Google AdSense, the clients they have, we're going to get some big payouts on clicks. Just remember I said that. There was a time when different financial projects were being marketed by us, and I think I was laughing because I was getting $25 a click, and I was making $300, $400, $500 a day during this time. It was freaking awesome. We're going to see days like that again. Remember, we write content based on what we want to share with the world, but it's another plus when another income stream or another aspect of our circular marketing brings in extra revenue because we're doing the right thing in the right time, the right placement to be a good partner for that. And this is just something that we don't have to really think about. We just write. Google takes care of all of that. It's just kind of cool to recognize it, and I do appreciate it. Okay. This information and updates provided are based completely on experience, and therefore my professional opinion. Technology is forever changing. It is something we need to be a constant user of. We need to invest in the education, and the best education is usage. Applied education is better than just book education. The muscle memories, the activities, you get that only by practice, by use, right? Everything new in technology is built upon something before it. This is very important. And this is what I was covering when I explained the architecture and the infrastructure being built to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. The blockchain technology, whoever it is that released that, they couldn't release it till it was ready to be released. It wouldn't have worked. And they knew it would take a while for people to adopt, but man, they put out something brilliant, and it's going to change everything. It already is. Everything, from food, clothing, shelter, to entertainment, to every aspect of our life, right? And the financial means that make it happen, and all of that. Knowing the stages in growth is extremely helpful in the learning and adaptation of curves. So what I mean by that is, if we know that there's more things that are always going to be coming, it means we're ready for it. right? Preparation is everything, right? It's you know, we want to own up that it's going to change. We're gonna be ready for that change and be on an education path. And the thing about it is by educating on what's here today and pressing forward what's coming in the future, it keeps us relevant. And the more relevant we are as a marketing resource, the more valuable we are to the marketplace. And as an entire family doing it, we're all much more valuable because of this. It's a necessary thing. We want to be in the relevant areas. Okay. Now, technology will absolutely change. It will always be evolving, and there is a solid risk that comes with it being obsolete. And I covered this a little bit before, but I'm going to really spell it out again. Okay. In my history alone, this has proven to be the case. It's only a matter of time. If you have anything based on technology, it will be replaced with something better, faster. So it's to me, I don't call it a foundational part of the business I have. It's going to be always, you know, a key thing, but it's going to be almost more of a kiosk I'm going to plug and play and replace with the newest thing coming out. You've got to be open to that. You cannot, this is not a commitment for long term, other than the processes where we're going, but technology pieces, the equipment, that's temporary till the next thing better is coming out. You will become obsolete if you deal with the hardware. And I'm gonna stress that. So you're gonna see us market hardware. We're gonna be part of that, but just know that is never gonna be like the #1 anchor, because it's hardware that's going to be replaced. We're buying into the system or structure that ties in that hardware, knowing that we're going to need to buy new hardware when it comes out. We're going to go forward with that. And it's really important you guys understand that, because based on hubris, you guys might read into what I say as, oh, this is the biggest thing for us to market on is this device. That's never the case. If that device is going to last as long as that device lasts until it's replaced with better technology. And the day it's replaced doesn't mean it's going to be replaced that day. It's going to be replaced when awareness replaces it as well. It takes two things. It takes the better device or the better service that's properly marketed to replace it. So I brought up my example with the voicemail company I was with and the technology we had. It was obsolete by technology in 1994, obsolete. Totally was going to be gone. But it wasn't obsolete to the marketplace till 2003. And that's not, you know, saying it's going to be 11 years all the time, but it's going to take a while. So we want to always be in the cutting edge and pushing forward on it. But the sooner we get people involved, and even if you got involved in, let's say that there's 10 stages of life with a technology piece, hardware, we'll call it hardware, and you get involved in the last stage of that epic time, that's still an investment into your knowledge and understanding and going forward to the next piece. You know, and sometimes it's better to do that than to wait for the newest, because you're going to miss out on valuable time of learning and understanding where they are trying to go with it. Right. And we're adapting. And the thing that's really powerful is education by use is probably the strongest. And that's why when there's a new phone that comes out, and like Samsung, when they bring out their new phone line, I buy every other version. And when I get to that one, I already know the basics of how it operates, already on the user feel. And unless they really change the user experience on it, you pretty much know where it's adapting to and just get to utilize the new stuff. None of us use everything on there anyway. We use the things that benefit us and we go forward. But, you know, I don't need to buy the latest, greatest tomorrow if I'm already productive with what's coming in. But I know that I'm going to need to adapt and grow into it at some point. And unless there's a new feature that comes out, like, oh my gosh, I have a problem with the processor locking up. I can't keep doing all my stuff. This is why I don't use an iPhone, by the way, is I lock them up every time. And they come out with a better processor, I'll try it. But the way that works versus tools I use on an Android is why I stay with an Android, because it works for me. Now, if they come out with a better, faster processor that's going to make my day more effective by minutes, I'm going to buy the new device because that's worth it for me. Same thing. That's the same thing that's going to go here. I just want to be really clear on the technology piece. The hardware, we're never going to be sinking our ship on. We will sink our ship if we tie ourselves to hardware. If we tie ourselves to the software and the direction the company is going, we'll be just fine. That's what I'm trying to say. And also that we want to have foundational things to build our business around, and then everything else that we stockpile around it, all the kiosks, even the bigger kiosks, we want to make sure we understand why we're doing them and where our purpose is. And we're not always committed to life to those because they're going to change. Okay. So I'm going to be extremely clear again. In business, especially in marketing, in the manner we do with performance blogging, the following are constants. We will always put the highest focus on relevance and foundational. Then we will add in plug and play, things we can pop in, pop out, replace with something new. anything else. So we can market and benefit from the marketing that is always done long-term and duration, and just update and modify with the new tech. I want to be very clear on that. All right, and it's something that I've never really outright stated. It's always been what I've done, but I wanted to really state it, and I think it's really important with this because there's some things that we're going to be involved in that take concept and things that are all electronic in the cloud and in the blockchain technology world and innovation world that we can't tangibly see, that now we have something tangible to tie into it. And it's exciting, but we know it's going to last until the next thing. But it's also exciting because it's a great thing to market that's actually real. People can put their hands around it, touch it, hold it, feel it, and watch it, work. And it's going to have a very awesome market appeal. And there's going to be a lot of hubris on it. But we all got to go into it knowing we're going to market it until we market the next thing that replaces it. That's my putting that out there. Well, I want to make sure I did that. And if anybody thinks, and so I'll go over some foundational stuff. I'll look at a crypto.com address coming in here. Wow. Say it's a Google ad. Crazy. This is important to understand and be in the circles of conversation for sure. Okay, I'm going to be blunt about blockchain innovation. It is by priority of how we succeed after the foundational products and services. Furthermore, we have to realize that we are several years from full adoption of the blockchain innovations we have even today. Several years, guys. It's not going to happen tomorrow. The world's not going to wake up tomorrow and I'll understand it. It's going to take a while. The more we focus on our anchors, the more we will make our training and knowledge of blockchain innovation, everything within our scope of training available to the masses. This is where my understanding of the circular momentum that we have, the circular way of doing things, the power of the PBS, right, where everything is revolving around our foundational products exists. If you're just out there training people on the blockchain, on Bitcoin, you're going to hit a very small segment of the population that even cares about it right now. That's the whole purpose of why it's so important that we market what we do. I'll break this down and again, but I want you to really pay attention to this. And this is really valuable information so you guys understand why, where, and how we're going, right? This is the, how the sausage is made type of a thing. And it's all going to look great, but this is the power that we present as the RRR247 marketing family, because we need to understand this, and we stay in our lanes, and the rest will happen. And it has to do with the way that people understand things. They're not looking for this blockchain stuff. They might see it and a buzz about it, but we're going to get a lot of indirect attention to it. And that's the best benefit that we have, is we can get people to it without bringing them to it, right? They can be their own idea to start going down the rabbit hole and understanding it. And then it will become mainstream at 17% adoption. We got a ways to go there, and we all have a lot to gain and a lot of things that we can help the world with by doing so. And we also get the multi-purpose benefit of being able to spotlight and highlight projects that we're intimately involved with, things that we're financially involved with as well. So it is self-serving, and it should be. We should get rewarded for what we're doing, and in a very big way. Okay. I'm right here. In the proven circular method of what we do with our PBS, the more we focus on our anchors, the more we will make our training and knowledge of Bitcoin innovation, everything within our scope of training available to the masses. I'm repeating that for a reason. I want you guys to understand that the more we do what I teach you guys to do originally, the more this is going to benefit when it's in place. We don't have to go out there and just always be piping out about Bitcoin and blockchain. We market the stuff that's proven us and got us this far. The horse that we ride on to get here, the rest of this is all going to happen. Do not deter from the anchors. There's a reason we stress it that way, and it got us this far. It's going to continue to carry us on because they're foundational. And I wanted everybody to really understand this, because we could really lose opportunity if we're not clear about the path we're on. We got to know the lane we're in and stay that lane, knowing that the systems we built allows us to market anything and everything else in our methods, in our ascension marketing, in our non-direct marketing, and in our placement, and I call it our Coca-Cola marketing. Everything that we're doing is going to draw more attention to other things in the way that people are going to look for them and be wanting them and be attracted to them. And that's really important. We've already built that. Trust it. trust that process, right? The patient process of all of that is already built in. Just do what we teach you to do. The rest will come. Doesn't mean don't put the information there. Do keep up with the information. Keep up with the knowledge for yourself, but know that we're part of a big process that's going to help everybody win this way. We already have it. We already have the winning formula. We don't need to get away from that. And the hubris can make us not want to focus on one thing or the other. That would be the biggest mistake. Stay with the course that brought this here, that built our value up. That's not, we have foundational things. So we're going to be a foremost place for education, understanding, and access to participation within it. Meaning we're going to give lots of opportunity, lots of different programs. You already have some now that people can benefit with this new changing world, and we'll benefit from it. And we're going to do it by doing what we already do, by focusing on the anchors, by protecting the integrity of what the structure of the system is. This is all going to happen. We don't need to just jump ship and focus on one of these things. Focus on what we focus on, the rest will fall into place. You need to trust that process. All right. Because it's important to stay focused. Here are the main anchors we market to drive to all of our categories and the wonders within them on each of our performance blogging systems. All right. Now, anchor offer number one, I think this goes without, I think everybody here knows it, right? It's Wine Ambassador. And we are on a true mission in education and gaining, giving, sharing access to true fine wines from Napa and Sonoma counties globally, right? This is as foundational as it gets, and we love our wine. You guys, we have a solid thing there that's always going to be a purpose-driven thing. It's always going to get out there. We don't have enough time in our lifetime to get this message across the world. It just takes time. It's never going to go away. It's never going to go out of fashion. It is the solid foundational piece that has changed everything for us since we added it in 2016. Okay, it has changed everything here. We're not going to get away from that. We're going to keep focused on it. And if anything, we're going to look to see how we can improve that process with all these new innovations that are coming out. It's going to circular right back to it. Everything's in circles. But that's our number one anchor offer. We do not lose focus on that, you guys. We're gonna make a lot of money in a lot of categories, but we're gonna get there on the same horses we know are proven out. You know, a proven racehorse is rare. We're gonna stick with every one we have. Now, we don't just have one. We have two solid home runs. Anchor offer number two is Bella Vita. Very freaking solid, okay? And I'm gonna stress this. You know, nutrition products are gazillions of them out there, okay? And if I reference things based on the way that the performance blogging system works, it's like a big mall or a big, huge supermarket. And if you go down to a supermarket, they don't just sell one vitamin and nutritional product. I understand that. They sell like a gazillion of them, right? And we've had our share and we bring stuff up there, but we have a foundational direction. And it's not because it's nutritional and wellness products, it's specific ones. We have a solid lane to participate in, and that's in the biohacking space. You know, it's biohacking sciences for food and nutrition, and it's a major step to help the world. It's innovative and major, and we think it's going to last for a very long time. We have a lot of people to get that to. Same like wine, right? It's foundational, right? And it's based on, you know, it's something we know we can go, you know, we can just grow with, right? We also know that, you know, you know, we know Casa very well. You know, Niall and I go back with him a long time. We know what we know him as a person and what he's capable of, but we've also watched what they put together as far as that company. They're going to constantly be bringing out cutting edge products. They're going to be giving us things that we can focus on, and that's great. Covers that category very well. Okay. And it's something that we just need to know. That's what we're on, right? It is a growing and expanding product line. We don't need to add to it. Other things might be encroaching on it. We might have things that come out with projects that we have that they might come out with a nutritional product. We see it all the time. It's a big thing. Doesn't mean that we start marketing that. It means we stick to our lanes. And if that's something that's cross-marketed somehow, great. If we stand to benefit from it, great. Anything that we do in the crypto world, if they start taking on a project that has to do with you know, taking nutrition to malnutrition people around the world, we want to support that. Doesn't mean we get behind it as we do with Bella Vita as a product line to bring into homes directly. It just means it's part of another, you know, it's part of the overall ecosystem, and we participate in it. I'm going to stress that, right? When it comes time for us to do our focus, we're focusing on our anchor. That's what got us there. If we have offshoots of other products that are in our circular motion that ties into other things, so be it. As long as we benefit from it, we're okay with it, and we just let it go that way. We're going to be very concise in how we do things, and we're going to do everything with the utmost integrity. We have to. But if something looks like, oh, well, look, they're doing this now. No, we stick with our anchors, right? Unless an anchor blows up, we stick with our anchor. And we've made sure that these two anchors aren't blowing up. We know it. They're foundational, and they set a solid purpose, and they create the means for a lot of people to do this full time as a career. It's been proven out. We go with it, but we're going to start adding things. So I wanted to really stress this out before I go fully into this training on the blockchain and crypto stuff. And it has to do with, again, the fear of hubris. Hubris is dangerous. It's also something to be very aware of, because you've heard the term, right? Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Hubris is the enemy of all success. Hubris is what causes all sorts of issues from personal to business life to happen, and it's because hubris is tied to greed. And so you want to keep the awareness of hubris close. And when you feel it coming on, recognize it for what it is, compartmentalize it, and if anything, use it as a guiding pole of, well, I'm feeling that hubris there. I got to really watch my things. And what I do is I slow things down to make sure that I'm making proper judgments the best I can. Speed hurts things, right? Speed and greed go together is harmful. Speed kills. You've heard that before. We like speed. We like to live on the edge of things, but slowing things down is almost always the case. Always better. We make better decisions. We can think it out, do research, pray on it. The best research ever, and that's where that all comes into. But you want to be aware of it, because when you're dealing with something that has great upside and something that literally can create millionaires overnight, there's a lot of responsibility, and the hubris can really get people greedy and kick in. People you never would have seen hurt somebody before will be selling out their soul, and I'm getting a little deep here, but they'll sell their soul because the hubris will take over. It doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means they let the hubris take over. So my experience with colleagues and friends is, we're going into a space where not everybody's going to be morally ready. They're not going to be morally, fiscally responsible or mature enough to handle the uptakes that this can create. And that's where the hubris understanding really is going to need to come in. And as a family, I think we're going to be really good. We're going to be doing things together where we got voices back and forth. And this is where big problems happen. And ignorance is very expensive. And I've got countless stories of this where, they don't know how to access their wallets. They don't know how to access things, but they bought some Bitcoin way back when. And then a scammer comes and takes it all away from them because they got so excited because it's a high payout right now. And obviously they need the money. That's where problems happen, right? So you want to know your P's and Q's and check things out. And as a complete marketing family, we're here to help everybody and support stuff. We've got resources to take into account. We've got experience to take into account. And that's what we're here to do. As great, anything bad has a positive, right? Everything positive has a negative. There's a balance to everything. There's always an equal balance. And that being said, as great as this is to change the world, there's things that can go bad with it as well. Now, utilizing the blockchain properly inside the white paper, man, they got to have that intent from the beginning. It should be sought out. So it cleans that up. But there's going to be, a lot of negative things out there. I'm a big believer right now that 98% of all the cryptocurrency projects out there are just like it was in the .coms. They're a great idea, but they really don't have a way to execute them. And therefore it makes them a glorified Ponzi scheme. I mean, they're going to raise a bunch of money for it. They're going to get a lot of money for their idea, but no one's going to execute on it. And they're going to set up somebody else to run with that later. And that's what I see. Back in the .com space in the 90s, there was some brilliant ideas and companies that raised a lot of money based on those ideas that didn't execute. And a lot of those ideas are available now. Now that the infrastructure is in place, that they can do things that they couldn't figure out before. The blockchain created solutions that now they can rely on to do their ideas from 1992. There's a lot of those. There's a lot of things that people have the thought, the idea, and it wasn't ready, right? They're ahead of their time. They're ahead of the actual, infrastructure to make it happen. So you're going to see amazing things come out now that wouldn't have been even pushed this far had people not invested in the foreseeable losses. A lot of those losses were really, enabling it to happen at a later time. They were pushing the infrastructure and the technology without realizing it. Right? So not all things bad are bad. It's just that patient process. I've succeeded the most because I recognized and learned from major failures. And, and when we're working with different companies and directions, I'm going to go over some more things. When I pick a partner to put my energy and to represent the energy of RRR247, I wanted to know I'm dealing with somebody that's good during the good times and good during the bad times. I actually do. I like to know their failures. And a lot of times that's more what I focus on and what they do to get through it. And I buy into things. And I've been recently talking about grit again. You know, I will back up somebody that fails that keeps standing up anytime. You know, if they keep getting up, they're going to finally find a way. You know, at some point they're going to have a breakthrough. That's what you're doing. You're gambling on a breakthrough. You're gambling on their growth and understanding. And someone that's failed so many times, when they actually get through it, their knowledge and experience that helped them succeed makes them really valuable because they know it can mess up, and that can save catastrophes later. Knowledge and experience is priceless, and that's part of that patient process and understanding as well. All right, so I want to make sure everybody knows the way we structure things on anchors is not going to change because of this. And the thing with blockchain and technologies is some of them are going to be foundational creating, but I don't think any of them are necessarily foundational today other than wallets. Absolutely. You got to have a way to exchange wallets. You know, they might transform the way they're looking, but the functionality is going to remain. It's a way to put money in, trade money, take money out. We've never seen over historical times. That's always been a need. And it's going to be something that's going to get better and better and more protected. And the more it's done on the blockchain technology itself, the stronger it is. So that's an example, but we're not, you know, and so we'll always be, you know, utilizing and marketing wallets, several wallets, right? I like to share, you know, two. They're focused on here. So crypto.com and Coinbase, right? And Coinbase.com, whatever, and the way they're growing and evolving. And you know, I've been using Coinbase ever since it was only available for Bitcoin, then Bitcoin and Ethereum, and now there's several tokens on there. It's mainstream to early adopters, but yet there's only 3% of the population that have wallets. And of that 3%, 2% are pretty much the developers, the utilization of it, the government agencies and banks. I mean, there's really like 1% of the consuming population, not innovative population using it. It's brand new, guys, brand new. That's my point. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I cover the relevance, and then I'm gonna go over blockchain innovation defined, and that'll be the end of this first training, and then we're going to go into some fun stuff. Okay, so blockchain innovation defined is a revolution. The blockchain is a revolution of technology by all intents and purposes, right? For the use and protection of transactions. Processes once done on centralized databases, all subject to attacks and theft, have been replaced by a trustless process that protects everyone using it. The first use case of this incredible technology was Bitcoin, and since its creation and as the understanding was proved out, the world is changing. Right? Efficiencies and security is already redefining and solving issues around literally all industries. And we are just seeing the beginning. Thus, blockchain innovation is the use of the blockchain to create a better way of processes for the betterment of mankind. It is a term we connect with advancing in scope and results. It is the growth of technologies to solve everything from the world hunger to improvement of life overall. All right, for all. What is blockchain? In simple terms, a blockchain is a digital ledger of transactions maintained by a network of computers in a way that makes it difficult to hack or alter. And when I say difficult, it makes it impossible. Bitcoin hasn't been hacked in 13 years and not even close. I mean, it takes a major thing and stuff to do there. So that's the whole idea. It makes it very difficult to hack or alter. And the technology offers a secure way for individuals to deal directly with each other without an intermediary like a government, bank, or other third party. You know, and that's a very powerful thing. It means it's done freely. It's open e-commerce. It's open commerce. It's the way it should be. Free trade. It's what it is, right? And it's not going to be, you know, muffed up by the greed. I'm going to go ahead and stop this here, and then we'll pick up right on the next one on what blockchain innovation is then. And we're going to go into a bunch more things. So I'm going to take a break for just like 3 minutes, and we'll be right back on the next one.